My mother left me with the woman who helped her bury my dad. I was only 2 years old. I don't remember my real mom much except she smelled smoky. Not like cigarette smoke, but like wood, if it had burned all day and been left out to dry in the desert. Oh, and she had really nice hair. Like my hair, real jet black. She was a Chink. I guess I'm not supposed to say that. Chinese, I mean. I know this all from the woman my mom left me with, who became like, I guess you could say, my mom. I know, it's confusing as hell, but life is like that sometimes. This woman is a spick named Carla. Yeah, I know, I'm not supposed to say that either. She's a Mexican, and her dad was a wetback from some small crap-hole town near Tijuana. Carla's husband, Roger, is I guess like my dad. He's okay. He's much better after he quit the Marines. Now he sells cars and we live in Minnesota, which is a hell of a lot better than 29 Palms out in the desert where I was born. Where my mom is from. Where those two women buried my real dad. I don't like the desert. It just sucks your whole soul out. I guess maybe that's what happened to my mom. She disappeared, swallowed her right up, bones and all, because they never found a trace of her. Just her sandals and a dress. So maybe she'll come walking back into my life one day. Yeah, I don't think so. The story of the Chink and the Spick, both my mothers, goes like this. It was 2005, the second year of Iraq. Roger says that war was all pointless, even now with no troops left there. 13 years later, the country is still a mess. No government and just some kind of civil war going on. So I guess we didn't do much there except leave it worse off. Roger hates talking about it. He always needs a beer. He gets so mad. He was over there. Did 4 tours there. Even got shrapnel in his left ankle from some road bomb. It's a cool scar. It's my mom, the Chink named Michelle, and the Spick named Carla, who I live with now, met in a weird way. My mom had just tried to bury my dad way out by a eucalyptus tree in the backyard. She was pregnant with me, about 6 weeks. She dug a hole with a shovel, but she wasn't able to finish the whole burying thing. Carla lived not far from her. She lived in a nicer trailer house over some canyon. Between them were all these little empty shacks. You could see them all over the desert. People just live off the grid all over these parts. When they move, they leave the place to just fall apart. Well, anyway, my mom asked Carla to help her bury my dad, and I guess Carla's pretty shocked. I mean, what do you say to that? But she went. You see, Carla was so damn depressed about her life, she was ready for anything to pull her out. Roger was away in Iraq getting shrapnel in his ankle, and she had all these nice visions of a house, with a yard and nice things and a store. She could sell her pillows she makes. Yeah, she makes these stupid-ass pillows. I don't like them, but it makes her happy. Well, nobody liked them in the desert. She never even sold one. So she felt depressed and missed Roger and maybe hated him a little for leaving her alone in the most lonesome place in the world. But then came Michelle with me in her stomach, asking her to help her bury a dead man, and things changed. There was another shovel, and they worked all day without talking. And they swam in a pool made from some shell of a boat near a place called the Lost Canyon. Carla told me that that's when she started to love my mom. Something inside of her started to feel on fire, and she had never felt that way. So at the boat, they talked about things. I guess my dad had been in Iraq. Yeah, he was a Marine too, from 29 Palms, which is a major dump. The place is full of miserable military wives and strip malls, and it smells like bad sewage. I mean, like the worst shit ever. Well, my dad came back from Iraq with all this trouble in his head. He kept crying all the time, and sometimes he would beat my mom. He'd sleep all day. He started telling my mom he wanted to die. So my dad kept asking her to kill him. That it would be an act of love. So she did it one day with his pistol. She shot him right in the heart like he asked. He was even ready for it. He shaved, put on his whites, and tied a garbage bag around his lowers so she wouldn't have to clean up his shit or piss. He dug out some of the hole, but he said she had to do it herself to get rid of the demons that might haunt her. And that's when she asked for help, because she couldn't get the shovel down to the ground. Roger, the one who's been my dad for all this time, hates the story and says that two women can't love each other, and that's all bullshit. But he lets Carla tell the story. I mean, I guess you could even say he's kind of liberal in a weird way. I mean, he never says anything bad about her burying a dead man. He just gets so upset about the lesbo stuff, which I understand. Sometimes in the night, Roger cries about the war and all the dead bodies he saw. And he still feels bad about leaving Carla alone for all that time and that they can't have kids. But I became their kid in the end, so it's all good. Anyways, back to the chink in the spick. They talked all day and dressed up, and this is after burying a dead man. I mean, let the good times roll. Jesus, people are just crazy. I mean, 2 days ago, they found 14 mangled bodies buried in the basement of some couple's place over in Iowa. So these two women, my two moms, stayed in that trailer house all summer, the 3 longest months of Carla's life, she says. Desert time is different than normal time. It feels stuck and slow, like you land in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. So all summer they cooked and watched TV and brushed each other's hair and slept in the same bed and read to each other. Carla said she started to make more pillows because Michelle loved them, and Michelle made Chinese food, noodles and stuff like that. And then my mom told her she was pregnant, and they got excited about me, and I guess they sang to me. Carla said my mom was the wildest woman she'd ever met, like she was born straight from the belly of the desert, knew all the secrets. They both took each other out of their sadness. The desert can really make someone sad, especially a woman alone. I mean, I hated it. I felt down all the time, too, like I was alone, and there was nothing in the world but dry dirt and hard rocky canyons, and just nowhere, land stretched out for miles. So they found each other in a world full of nobodies and nothingness, and I guess all you can do is fall in love. I'm kind of half gay, I guess, if you think about it. That's weird. After that summer of love, one morning my mom just took off in the desert, and Carl looked and looked for her, but couldn't find her. Even Roger came back from Iraq and tried to help, but no Michelle. Carla just became depressed as hell again. And then bam, I'm born. I don't remember where. Just remember a lot of dirt and dust, and my mom carrying me in some green thing over her shoulder. Oh, and she always seemed far away. Even when she was holding me, she just seemed like she was on another planet. And then one day, she just drops me off on the steps of Carla and Roger's place with a little bag and a note. I don't think I cried, but Carla did when she saw me. She said she knew right away who I was. And my mom, well, that was the last time I ever saw her. She just disappeared over some hill full of sagebrush. I remember there was this really strong sun lighting her up, especially her hair. It was the shiniest black I've ever seen, like fresh laid tar. Then there's Carla, this woman I didn't know, crying and holding me too tight, rocking me on her doorstep. The desert is strange. Sometimes I wake up in the night so cold and sweaty from a dream I keep having, where all I see are these footprints in the red sand, and there are all these tumbleweeds, and the wind is blowing so hard, and everything just stands still like the whole world's died. And then I look up, and I see my mom with these big black eyes, calling out to me. Or maybe it's Carla. And these weird noises, and I can't tell if it's somebody crying or the wind. It's a feeling so strong I can't breathe, and then I wake up and my forehead is all cold and it's hard to get back to sleep. Yeah, I'm glad we left the desert. People are all just goddamn nuts, I've decided. It makes me so depressed just thinking about it. Nobody in school ever believed me, so I just shut my mouth about where I really come from and say that I'm a normal Minnesota boy. And everyone seems to be okay with that. I like Minnesota. It's not a bad place.